Shredder's Revenge, released in 2022, is a true milestone for the beat-em-up genre, excellently resurrecting the classic style that so many fans love. Developed by Tribute Games and published by Dotemu, the game captures that nostalgic arcade feel, but with a fresh look that blends vibrant pixel art and modern mechanics. I consider their work proof that the genre still has a lot to offer when produced with respect and care for the details that made the classics so special back then. It's a title that not only revives the fun of old-school street brawls, but also expands the audience to new players with an updated and fluid approach. In contrast, Cosmic Invasion, debuting on December 1st, 2025, generates enormous anticipation precisely because it is another project from the same powerful duo, Tribute Games and Dotemu. It's interesting to note how this partnership has established itself as a symbol of quality in games that pay homage to the past, bringing the expertise of those who know what fans expect without missing the chance to innovate. By announcing this new title, it's clear they want to continue to evolve the genre, exploring other avenues of the beat-em-up universe, perhaps with a more cosmic and strategic twist, which already piques my curiosity. What I find cool about Tribute Games' trajectory is how they maintain total respect for the classics, but are also attuned to what the contemporary audience is looking for. Shredder's Revenge was a success precisely because it didn't try to reinvent the wheel, yet it struck the balance between nostalgia and freshness. This kind of sensibility is not easy to find in the industry, and makes me hope that Cosmic Invasion can bring something equally enjoyable, without being a mere repetition of the past with better graphics. One thing that stands out in both games is the collaboration with Dotemu, which has become a partner synonymous with the rescue and modernization of retro games. They seem to view these titles not just as commercial products, but as a way to preserve a gaming culture that many embrace with passion. This reinforces my confidence that Cosmic Invasion will be a careful release, made to please both genre veterans and new audiences, keeping the essence of beat-em-ups alive. Considering the cultural impact and the evolution of Tribute Games and Dotemu, I believe we are seeing not just games, but the continuation of a tradition that connects generations. Shredder's Revenge was the gateway to this new phase, an invitation to rediscover the genre, and Cosmic Invasion seems to be the next chapter in this story, with the potential to surprise and expand the horizons of what a beat-em-up can be in 2025. I'm eager to see how they will balance innovation with reverence for the legacy that makes these games so special to the gaming community. When it comes to the visual style, Shredder's Revenge delivers retro pixel art that is pure delight for anyone who grew up with the 80s and 90s arcades, capturing that raw, nostalgic essence of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The sprites are detailed enough to evoke memories, but maintain a fidelity to the low res that makes everything feel straight out of a modern arcade cabinet. I love how this visual doesn't try to be overly polished, prioritizing the vibration and punch of each hit, which makes the fighting intense and full of personality without unnecessary frills. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, on the other hand, seems to take this classic pixel art base and go a step further with an evolution that I find welcome and exciting. From what I've seen in the trailers, the animations are notably more fluid, with smooth transitions between attacks and movements that avoid the typical stuttering of retro games more faithful to the past. It's not a cheap copy of Shredder's visual. Instead, it innovates by adding layers of depth and lighting effects that make the Marvel Cosmic Chaos shine more dynamically, almost as if they were merging old-school charm with touches of hand-drawn animation. What impresses me in the comparison is how the pixel art of Cosmic Invasion respects the roots of Shredder's Revenge, but raises the standard with a fluidity that makes the combat more legible amidst the frenzy of heroes and villains flying across the screen. Shredder's excels at pure retro, perfect for those who want an immersive arcade experience without distractions, but Cosmic Invasion innovates by making the pixels dance with more grace, which can make the boss fight sequences even more cinematic. I feel this is not visual plagiarism, but a natural maturation of the style that Tribute Games masters so well. A key difference highlighting the evolution is in the color palettes and scenario design. While Shredder's Revenge uses earthy, urban tones to reinforce its street-level vibe, Cosmic Invasion explodes with vibrant colors and spatial backgrounds that demand more sophisticated animations to avoid becoming a pixelated mess. This shows a clear intention not to copy, but to expand what worked, making the visual more accessible for modern players who expect polish without losing the retro soul. For me, it's the perfect balance between homage and progress. In the end, the visual style of Marvel Cosmic Invasion represents a genuine evolution of the classic pixel art seen in Shredder's Revenge, with fluid animations that add life and impact without betraying the genre's origins. I see no copy here, but rather a refinement that excites me for the launch, proving that the beat-em-up can evolve visually while keeping the pulsating heart of the classics. I can't wait to dive into these livelier pixels and see how they transform the action into something even more addictive. Shredder's Revenge's combat is one of the best examples of polished beat-em-up I've ever played. With a system that seems simple at first glance, but hides layers of depth for those who want to master the game. Each turtle has its basic combo, special attacks, a radical mode that boosts everything, and mechanics like dash cancel and rising attack that allow for longer combos and more active defenses. What impresses me most is how the game encourages the player to move all the time, transforming the battlefield into an almost dance-like rhythm, where every hit, dodge, and special needs to be in the right place to maintain the combo and survive the waves of enemies. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, on the other hand, seems to take this solid foundation and go a step further with the tag system, which completely changes the way combat is approached in the beat-em-up. Instead of controlling just one hero, each player chooses two characters and can swap between them at any time, or call the partner for an assist, creating combos that mix different styles in an almost fighting game manner. This is not just a copy of Shredder's system, it's an evolution that adds strategy, such as using a short-range character for pressure and a long-range one to control the field, or swapping heroes to escape an attack and continue the combo. What excites me most about Cosmic Invasion's system is how it transforms the classic beat-em-up into something more dynamic and tactical, without losing the essence of the genre. In Shredder's Revenge, the focus is on mastering one character and exploring their internal mechanics, like cancels and special timing. In Cosmic Invasion, the focus seems to be on combining two characters, exploring synergies between them, which opens up space for more creative combos and more flexible responses to dangerous situations. For me, this is evolution, not repetition. It's as if the genre is learning from fighting games and bringing that sense of total control to the beat-em-up. Another point that shows this evolution is how Cosmic Invasion deals with the combat pace and enemy pressure. In Shredder's Revenge, the game is more loose, with fast combos and fluid movement. But Cosmic Invasion seems a bit more heavy and strategic, with more recovery after attacks and a dodge system that requires more planning. This might seem like a step back for those who love the speed of Shredders, but in practice, I think it serves to balance the power of the tag system, forcing the player to think about when to use the assist, when to swap heroes, and when to simply move away to recharge their focus. Ultimately, the combat system of Marvel Cosmic Invasion is not a copy of Shredder's Revenge, but an evolution that leverages the best the genre offers and adds layers of strategy and personality. While Shredder's is a perfect tribute to the classic beat-em-up, Cosmic Invasion seems to want to expand what this type of game can be, with tag mechanics that make each fight more personal and unique, depending on the chosen duo. For those who enjoy thinking about combat and setting up creative combos, this evolution is a step in the right direction, and I can't wait to see how this will deepen in the final game. Shredder's Revenge brings with it that classic feeling few games can deliver. The roster of 8 iconic Ninja Turtles, each with their own style and striking personality. For fans, it's almost a genuine fan service to have these characters, plus extra content with DLCs that further expand the team, maintaining the focus on the street-level vibe of the Turtles universe. I feel that, with this selection, the game builds a very strong emotional connection with those who grew up playing and are passionate about the franchise, which gives it a coherence and identity all its own. Marvel Cosmic Invasion opens the doors to a completely larger universe, with 15 heroes on the roster, including heavy hitters like Wolverine, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk. This diversity increases the options for the player to experiment with different styles and abilities, which is a strength, especially for those who like to vary the gameplay and feel the impact of different powers in combat. However, I perceive that this breadth can slightly dilute the direct emotional connection, as it's a very broad and heterogeneous gallery of characters, which makes the game seem more focused on variety than on a firm narrative identity. What catches my attention is that this IP swap, from the concentration on the Turtles universe to the Marvel immensity, is an interesting strategic step, but not a simple, more characters is better scenario. In Shredders, each character has a unique and special space that strengthens the world building and the game's style. In Cosmic Invasion, despite the greater variety, the challenge is to keep each hero with their own face and truly distinct mechanics, so that the swap is not just aesthetic, but brings real differences to the gaming experience. From what I've seen, they try to do this with different moves and combo skills, but I'm still expectant about the real depth. Considering the game's identities, Shredder's Revenge is an example of focus and love for the franchise, delivering a cohesive team that dialogues naturally, while Cosmic Invasion bets on the breadth and strength of the Marvel Universe to attract a wider and more diverse audience. Personally, I like the idea of variety, but for me, the game's emotional connection with the player depends heavily on this narrative and character cohesion who share a soul within the same world. Something Shredders does very well, and that Cosmic Invasion needs to prove it can do with so many different heroes. Ultimately, the difference between the rosters is not just a matter of number or IP swap, but a reflection of what each game wants to represent for the player. Shredders is nostalgia and cohesion, while Cosmic Invasion is breadth and experimentation. I like to see this diversity, but I think it is essential that Cosmic Invasion manages to give each of its 15 heroes a unique identity and relevance, so as not to get lost in its own variety. This is the real question for me. Is a larger roster synonymous with evolution or just a change in focus? The answer, for those following both, lies in the nuances of what each universe and development team delivers for the gameplay and narrative. Shredder's Revenge transports me directly to the gritty streets of New York, with stages that perfectly capture that chaotic urban vibe of the Ninja Turtles. From the alleyways full of Foot Clan to the Central Park Zoo and the dilapidated Coney Island. Each stage has a scent of arcade nostalgia, with on-rail sections on skateboards or hoverboards that speed up the pace, and bosses like Rocksteady, Bebop, or Super Shredder that demand precise timing in iconic settings like the Statue of Liberty. For me, this grounded structure is the heart of the game, creating a narrative cohesion that makes you feel part of the TMNT street-level world, without overdoing it. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, in contrast, explodes the limits with cosmic scenarios, ranging from Wakanda invaded by bugs to the Negative Zone, passing through New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier, Asgard, and Clintar. These stages are more ambitious, with dynamic transitions like elevators full of enemies, or laser towers on the Helicarrier, and bosses like Beetle, Taskmaster, or Claw, that incorporate unique gimmicks such as sonic immateriality or zigzag lasers. I love how this uses the vast Marvel universe to vary the gameplay, with references like the Daily Bugle and cameos that enrich the background, making each stage an epic journey. Comparing the structures, Shredders masterfully recycles the classic beat-em-up blueprint: linear streets, zoo, technodrome, but is confined to New York and its surroundings, which provides focus but limits the scale. Cosmic Invasion maintains this base of arenas, with camlocks and waves of enemies, but elevates it with interplanetary variety and mechanics like pods that spawn foes or lane changes between ground and flight. I don't see lazy recycling, It's an expansion that uses Marvel lore to justify more ambition, without losing the arcade punch. What really differentiates them is the thematic ambition. While Shredder's shines in urban intimacy, with bosses that feel like organic extensions of the TMNT world, Cosmic Invasion goes for the cosmic with 15 confirmed levels and 14 bosses, such as Annihilus leading the Annihilation Wave. For me, this adds replay value and strategy, forcing hero swaps per stage. Wakanda calls for Black Panther. The negative zone requires aerial powers. It's evolution because it transforms stages into authentic Marvel events, not just fighting screens. Ultimately, the stages of Cosmic Invasion represent a genuine ambition that honors Shredders without copying it, exchanging streets for the cosmos to deliver epic scale in the same polished mold as Tribute. I feel this expands the genre, proving that beat-em-ups can dream big without losing the arcade soul. I can't wait to grind these stages and see if the cosmic variety beats the New York nostalgia in total immersion. Shredder's Revenge has already set a high standard when it comes to co-op, supporting up to 6 players locally or online, which is fantastic for those who like to gather the group and start brawling in classic arcade mode. The game truly captures that feeling of teams working together in the same space, with fluid gameplay and no performance drop, which makes co-op sessions very fun and connected. For me, this is one of the game's great qualities. The social experience works extremely well without technical complications or restrictions. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, in turn, promises to take this experience to another level, not only supporting up to 6 players, but clearly including modern features like crossplay between platforms. This, for me, is a game changer, because it eliminates technical barriers and community fragmentation, something that modern gaming demands more and more. I, who often play on different devices, find this freedom essential to keep the co-op active and vivid, unlike Shredder's, which, although great, is still a bit limited to the traditional experience without this more universal integration. In addition to cross-platform, Cosmic Invasion should bring improvements in online stability and the cooperative interface, with more intuitive commands and character swaps during group play. This represents an evolution, as classic beat-em-ups often suffered from technical problems in online mode, and the promise of a more stable and fluid experience without lag or desynchronization is something I highly value in cooperative games today. I don't see this as just a repetition of what Shredders did, but a maturation of what the audience expects from multiplayer. Another aspect I consider relevant is how the cooperative combat in Cosmic Invasion leverages the tag team system and assists, strengthening teamwork and coordination between players. While Shredder's focuses more on the synchronicity of attacks and positioning, Cosmic Invasion adds strategic layers with characters who can assist each other directly, creating unique moments during group battles. This makes the co-op experience more dynamic and creative, valuing not just more players but more interaction between them. Overall, the cooperative mode of Marvel Cosmic Invasion seems not only to reach, but surpass Shredder's Revenge, especially by embracing the future of multiplayer with cross-play and technical improvements that make all the difference when playing with friends online. While Shredder's is an excellent starting point and a perfect tribute to classic co-op, Cosmic Invasion presents itself as the natural evolution, making the genre breathe and adapt to what modern players expect from a cooperative game. For me, this is one of the biggest promises of the launch. Shredder's Revenge has a soundtrack that is pure arcade nostalgia in stereo, with the genius T. Lopes recreating the classic Ninja Turtles vibes through FM synthesizers full of punch and heavy guitars by Johnny Atma. Each track, like Big Apple 3PM, pulses with that urban energy of New York, mixing retro samples with epic collaborations like Wu-Tang Clan on the Shredder theme, making you feel like you're in the 80s while crushing foot soldiers. For me, it's a captivating OST that not only accompanies the street chaos, but becomes the pulsating heart of the game, perfect for endless co-op loops. Marvel Cosmic Invasion continues with T. Lopes at the helm, elevating this bass to epic themes that capture the vast Marvel universe, with even more aggressive guitars and melodies that echo the cosmic chaos from Wakanda to the negative zone. The demos already show stage tracks that sound like they came from a turbocharged CPS arcade, with subtle orchestral layers for bosses like Annihilus, and hooks that stick in your head during tag team combos. I love how this maintains the arcade stereo, but adds grandeur, transforming each stage into a sound event that combines nostalgia with superhero spectacle. What differentiates the music is how Shredder's focuses on TMNT cohesion, street-level tracks with funky riffs and over-the-top voices like Mike Patton in the main theme, while Cosmic Invasion expands to a more diverse palette, reflecting 15 heroes with heroic motifs and shredding guitars that give weight to the cosmic powers. It's not repetition, it's evolution, because Lopes uses the same retro formula as a foundation, but injects Marvel ambition for tracks that feel more cinematic, ideal for the interplanetary scope, without losing the arcade groove. Comparing the impact, Shredder's soundtrack is impeccable for urban immersion, with mixes that Andrew One mastered to sound authentic on headphones or TV, becoming a standalone album that I still listen to. Cosmic Invasion promises to surpass this, with main themes that open animations in grand style, and stage variations that synergize with the tag fighting, creating moments where the music becomes part of the combo. For me, this sonic maturity proves its evolution, more epic, but anchored in what made Shredder's shine. In the end, the soundtrack of Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a genuine musical evolution of the arcade nostalgia of Shredder's, exchanging TMNT vibes for Marvel epics without copying formulas. T. Lopes simply masters the genre, delivering tracks that elevate the beat-em-up to another sonic level. I'm hyped for the full release, because if the demos are already this catchy, the album will be mandatory for any fan of pixel art and heavy riffs. This is like the beat-em-up genre getting a sound upgrade that connects generations. Shredder's Revenge already delivered a very solid experience in duration, offering a main campaign that can easily take several hours, especially with the depth of the combos and increasing difficulty. Furthermore, the released DLCs took the content to another level, adding extra characters, challenges, and modes that keep the game relevant to the community. For me, this strategy proved successful in keeping interest alive, giving fans a good dose of post-launch content that doesn't feel forced, but rather a natural expansion of the base experience. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, in turn, arrives with an explicit promise of regular updates and continuously planned additional content, which is a move that reflects current trends in the gaming market. The intention here seems to be to build a solid initial base, with 15 heroes and multiple stages, but with the clarity that the game will constantly evolve with new characters, modes, and possibly thematic Marvel events. This approach sounds less like a cheap copy and more like a response to modern expectations for content delivery, especially for multiplayer and cooperative games. What draws my attention is that, while Shredder's used more traditional DLCs, focused mainly on adding characters and a few stages, Cosmic Invasion plans to create a more dynamic and adaptable experience over time, perhaps even with seasonal events and challenges that encourage the community to return regularly. This brings a different dimension of replayability, which can make the game a frequent meeting point for players who like to stay updated and test new balances. I see this flexibility as a clear evolution, but one that also depends heavily on the execution to avoid becoming a cauldron of poorly utilized content. In terms of duration, even starting with fewer stages than Shredder's, Cosmic Invasion has the advantage of the diversity of the Marvel Universe and its tag team system, which naturally amplifies the replay value through the variety of combinations and playing styles. Shredder's, on the other hand, relies on its consistently solid learning curve and stages that require mastery and experimentation with different characters, something that also engages the player in a classic and effective way. For me, it's about two different types of long play. One classic and methodical, the other modern and expansive. Ultimately, the post-launch content of Marvel Cosmic Invasion doesn't seem like a cheap copy, but rather an intelligent adaptation to new market demands, while Shredder's was built on a slightly more traditional yet effective logic. I think both have their place, and that success will depend on how each game maintains its base engaged in the long term. For those who love beat-em-ups, the promise of continuous content in Cosmic Invasion is exciting and shows a natural evolution in how value is delivered, without losing respect for the base experience already so well built by Shredders. Marvel Cosmic Invasion brings innovations that go beyond the basics of Shredder's Revenge, such as the Cosmic Swap tag team system, where each player assembles a duo of heroes and instantaneously alternates between them to chain unique combos, calling assists that inject the partner's moves in the middle of the fight. This isn't just a quick swap, it creates real synergies, like Wolverine launching enemies high and Spider-Man web-swinging to finish, adding layers of strategy that Shredders doesn't have. For me, this transforms the beat-em-up into something with Marvel vs. Capcom DNA, giving a sense of superhero power without losing the arcade crowd control. Another unique feature is the Ultimate Team Drafting, where you select balanced duos, melee plus ranged, ground plus flyer, to optimize each stage, with icons suggesting ideal builds such as Brawler, Grabber, or Elemental. This elevates the replay value, forcing experimentation to counter specific enemies, like flyers in dual-layer arenas of the negative zone. I love how this proves evolution. Shredders focuses on mastering one character, but here drafting becomes part of the hype, like assembling the perfect team for cosmic chaos. The cosmic mechanics shine in multi-layer arenas, with ground-air lanes that flying heroes like Storm or Iron Man explore, spawning ranged enemies and blockers that react to your projectiles. Bosses like Annihilus use immaterial gimmicks or lasers that demand tag swaps to escape stun and counterattack, turning each fight into a dynamic puzzle. It's not makeup, it's a complete redesign driven by the Marvel powers, maintaining the active gameplay but adding verticality and counters that Shredders keeps more linear. What excites me is how these innovations solve classic beat-em-up pain points. The tag provides escape from annoying hit stun, extending combos intuitively, while stellar power-ups and duo-specific specials unleash devastation in a group. Shredders is polished but predictable. Cosmic Invasion injects freshness with assists that make the world feel bigger, epic sprites that make you feel powerful. It's proof that Tribute evolved the formula, not copied it. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is, without a doubt, a genuine evolution of the beat-em-up that Shredder's Revenge revived so brilliantly. Taking Tribute Games' polished foundation and injecting innovations like tag team drafting and cosmic arenas that expand the genre without losing the arcade soul. Pros include the massive roster of 15 Marvel heroes with unique synergies, T. Lopez's epic soundtrack that elevates the hype, cross-play co-op up to 6 players, and multi-layer mechanics that add real strategy. Cons are slightly heavier combat in previews and the risk of dilution with so much variety. Hands-on scores average 9 out of 10, praising it as the next gold standard post-Shredders. Shredders shines with the pros of perfect cohesion, pure TMNT nostalgia, and organic replayability via DLCs that extended its lifespan. But cons include the lack of crossplay and more linear stages confined to New York. The community on Reddit and Twitter is hyped, with threads calling Cosmic Shredders 2.0 but with superpowers, and Max Dude streams boosting Steam wishlists. Previews highlight that it's not a profitable copy. It's the same team evolving with Marvel ambition, solving limitations like annoying hit stun via fluid swaps. Personally, the pros of Marvel Cosmic Invasion win me over more. The ultimate drafting turns each run into a tactical experiment, the soundtrack with catchy riffs, and stages like Wakanda that feel epic, surpassing Shredder's predictable formula in scale and freshness. The community loves the promise of continuous updates, avoiding the dry end post-DLC of Shredders, and pre-launch hype for tomorrow explodes with finally a worthy sequel. Cons like possible option overload don't worry me. It's pure replayability for those who master TMNT. Comparing scores, Shredders was 92% on Metacritic, with universal praise for retro fidelity, while Cosmic Demos hit 9.2 in previews for innovating without betraying, proving evolution, not plagiarism. Community hype is unanimous. Shredder's fans see it as a must-buy for modern co-op, with 95% positive Steam wishes. The Cosmic Pros easily beat the urban cons for me. If you love Shredders, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is worth every penny to buy in December. It's the evolution the genre was begging for, with more depth, variety, and future-proofing that honors the legacy without copying the formula. It's not lazy profitability, it's tribute games at its peak, promising the definitive beat-em-up of 2025. I believe the game is unlikely to disappoint us. Now we just have to wait for the launch.
Need to focus my mind.
Blade vortex!
Power flows within me.
Next time, try harder.
Thunder strike! Glacial gale!
Modok must have reached the helicarrier's deck by now. We have to catch him before he can join up with the bubbles.
Where do these guys do their shopping?
Need to focus my mind.